Welcome to Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa, episode number 23 for Saturday, October 10, 2020. This is the second podcast for this date. I am continuing on with my discussion into the investigation of Las Vegas Justice Court Judge Melanie Andress-Tobiasson. On Friday, October 9, 2020, Tobiasson's attorneys resubmitted to the court Exhibits 11 through 15 to the emergency writ that was dismissed by the Supreme Court of Nevada on Friday. Tobiasson's attorneys state the exhibits were stricken from their original submission as redacted documents pursuant to the court's order denying motion to seal. The exhibits, although many pages were redacted, were very informative as follows. The transcript of Las Vegas FBI Division Special Agent Kevin White's telephonic recorded interview that was conducted by Adam Wignansky, the investigator for the Nevada Commission on Judicial Discipline, that was conducted on January 30, 2020, is as follows. Be aware that pages 2 through 5, 7 and 8, 10 through 14, and every other page after page 15 is not available to the public at this time. The transcript, in part, is as follows. Case number, Nevada Commission on Judicial Discipline 2019-005, Spencer Investigations, recorded interview of Kevin White, January 30th, 2020. Identity of speakers, Adam Wignansky, Kevin White. For my purposes, I'll identify Adam Wignansky as Adam and Kevin White as agent. Adam. All right, transcriber. Today's date is January 30th, 2020. The time is approximately 8:59 a.m. This is investigator Adam Wignansky with Spencer Investigations, Reno, Nevada, who are contracted by the State of Nevada Commission on Judicial Discipline. This will be a telephonic interview. Now, for the record, Agent White, can you please spell your first and last name? Agent, Kevinwhite. Adam, okay, what would be a good address for you? Agent, 1787 West Lake Mead Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89106. Adam, okay, and a phone number? Agent, 702-385-1281. Adam, okay, do you also have a cell number? Agent, I do, 70237, the rest of it's redacted. Adam, okay, now transcriber, also present with FBI Special Agent. Page 1 ends, now we're going to jump to page 6, top of page 6. Adam, how many times would you say that you interacted with Judge Tobiasson since you met in the fall of 2017? Agent, I could approximate somewhere between 5 and, I would say closer to 5, maybe 7 times total. Adam, okay. Agent, and that includes telephone calls and meeting in person. Adam, okay. Now, Judge Tobiasson mentioned that she would meet with you in various locations, to include churches and libraries, because you were afraid to speak with her in public. Does that make sense? Agent, I mean, if that's what she said, I guess that was her opinion. I can't speak on what she believed. Adam, okay. Were you afraid to meet with her in public? Agent, no. Adam, okay. Did you ever tell Judge Tobiasson that you could not trust any agents that were assigned to the FBI Las Vegas office? Agent, no. Adam, Judge Tobiasson mentioned that she was providing you with information about police corruption. Was she providing you information about police corruption? Agent, I can't answer that question. Adam, now, you can't answer it because it's an ongoing investigation, or you just can't answer it? Agent, I can tell you I can't comment on ongoing investigations. That is the end of page 6, and it now jumps to page 9, top of page 9. Adam, okay, to your knowledge, did the FBI at any time have any involvement in the Land and Kaufman homicide investigation? Agent, I can't comment on that. Adam, okay. Did you ever request Judge Tobiasson to retrieve any and all information from the victim's mother in regards to this murder investigation? Agent, no. Adam, now, to your knowledge, did any FBI special agent request Judge Tobiasson's assistance to obtain information from Connie Land in regards to this homicide investigation? Agent, I don't know. I can only answer for myself. Adam, okay. Would there be any justifiable or legal reason for Judge Tobiasson to request information from a murder victim's mother reference an ongoing double murder investigation? Agent: I wouldn't know. You'd have to ask her. Adam: Okay. When was the last time that you interacted in any way with Judge Tobiasson? Agent: A few years, so I couldn't tell you exact, but I would say fall of 2017, approximate. Adam: Okay. Was that in person or on the phone? Agent: They were usually close to each other, the phone calls and in person, so I don't remember. Adam: Okay. Do you remember the context of the last discussion? That is end of page 9. Then we're going to the top of page 15. And then it starts out with, and I believe this is Adam asking the question, communicated with you using burner phones? Are you aware of anything like that? Agent: Aware of what? Adam: Of her using burner phones to communicate with you. Agent: I am unaware of what type of phone she used. Can you explain to me what a burner phone is? Adam: Well, I was going to ask you the same question, what a burner phone was. Agent: I've heard of them. I heard the term, Well, I guess I asked the question first. What is your interpretation of a burner phone? Adam: I'm sure it's phones that you obtain at Targets or Walmarts or something like that, disposable phones. That's what I gather would be a burner phone. Agent: Okay. Adam: You don't have any knowledge of that? Agent: Indiscernible in parentheses, then agree with you on that. Adam: What was that? Agent: I guess I'll agree with you on that. I mean, I still don't. The actual term burner phone is that it's a secondary phone that people use. I don't know. Adam: Okay, but you're not aware of her using those types of phones to communicate with you. Agent: No, I don't know what kind of phone she was using. Adam: Okay, and like I said, you did prepare reports on this. That is page 15. That is the end of page 15. That's all we have on Kevin White's transcription of his interview. The following is page number 12 of Adam Wignansky's investigative report that he filed on April 25, 2020, in reference to the Tobiasson investigation, case number 2019-005. Also be aware that pages 2 through 11, 13 through 24, and all pages after page 25 are not available to the public at this time. Adam's report as follows. Special Agent Kevin White was very evasive during our entire interview. He also had FBI Assistant Chief Counsel Lance Turner sitting with him during the interview. The majority of Special Agent White's answers to my questions were, quote, I can't answer that, unquote. He acknowledged that Tobiasson had contacted him in the fall or late in 2017. I asked him what the conversation involved, and he answered, quote, I can't answer that, unquote. Special Agent White told me that during his entire interactions with Tobiasson, he had a total of 5 to 7 contacts with Tobiasson, which included phone calls and personal contacts. He was not being truthful because it was discovered and verified during the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department criminal intelligence investigation against Tobiasson that Special Agent White had 48 telephone contacts with Tobiasson when Tobiasson was using her, quote, burner phone, unquote, and he had 130 additional telephone contacts with Tobiasson when she was using her personal cell phone. I asked him if he communicated with Tobiasson using, quote, burner phones, unquote. He stated that he was not aware of what a burner phone was. I found this hard to believe that a special agent with the FBI had no knowledge of what a burner phone was, especially after he told me about all the special assignments they had worked during his FBI career, to include investigating crimes of terrorism. And in parentheses, refer to Exhibit Number 8 and Exhibit Number 13, copies of Las Vegas Metro pen register information, reference Tobiasson burner phone and personal cell phone contacts with White's cell phone number to confirm numerous telephone interactions between Tobiasson and FBI Special Agent Kevin White, close parentheses. Continues. Special Agent Kevin White admitted that Tobiasson had mentioned the ongoing double homicide investigation that involved Sidney Land and Nehemiah Kaufman, and that she also mentioned Shane Valentine. Tobiasson had also told him about Ariane Zappia being a victim of kidnapping and sex trafficking in a case against her pimp, Anthony Galassi. He denied trying to dissuade Ariane from testifying against Anthony Galassi. During our interview, Special Agent White at first denied meeting with Ariane Zappia, but later admitted to meeting with her in person in the fall of 2017. I found Special Agent Kevin White to be untruthful, dishonest, and not forthcoming. Parentheses. Refer to Exhibit Number 12, copy of email from Tobiasson to reporter Doug Poppa, dated December 14, 2018 at 11:49 a.m. Tobiasson stated that Kevin White said he would speak out if they ever came after her, and that he hasn't done anything to help her or back her up, close parentheses. Open parentheses. Refer to Exhibit Number 12, copy of email from Tobiasson to Doug Poppa, dated June 20, 2018 at 4:42 p.m. Tobiasson stated that the last story kind of burned her with Kevin White being outed and some of the other stuff, close parentheses. Open parentheses, refer to interview summaries, transcripts, and/or recordings of interviews with FBI Special Agents Vanitha Pandy, Richard Smith, and Kevin White. That is the end of page 12. That's all we have on this with reference to Kevin White. Now for my remarks. FBI Special Agent Kevin White, for reasons known only to him, was obviously not telling the truth about his contacts with Judge Tobiasson. The telephone numbers that were recorded by the dialed number recorder, commonly referred to as a pen register, conflict with what Agent White said during his recorded interview. Why an FBI agent would be untruthful during an interview with an investigator from a judicial commission who was conducting an official investigation into a sitting judge is extremely troubling. I find Agent White's comments about not knowing what a burner phone is totally unbelievable to the point of being ridiculous. Any FBI agent today who does not know what the term burner phone is should go back to Quantico for some in-service training. In a previous podcast, you heard excerpts from my May 7, 2018 on-the-record recorded interview with Judge Tobiasson, where she stated that FBI agent Kevin White gave her a burner cell phone to communicate because he couldn't trust anyone at the FBI Las Vegas Division office, and that White was afraid to meet her in public. As we learned from Adam Wignansky's interview, Agent White, when questioned on that, denied exactly what Tobiasson said to me on those matters. So, who was not telling the truth here? FBI Special Agent White was not truthful during his interview, so once again we have a dilemma, just as we do with Las Vegas Metro Homicide Detective Jared Grimmett. Judge Tobiasson's attorneys stated in their response to the court that Jared Grimmett cleared Tobiasson because Grimmett told Adam Wignansky that Judge Tobiasson did not meddle into the double murder investigation, and he did not provide confidential details about the homicide investigation to Tobiasson. Well, Tobiasson's attorneys can't have it both ways. If they believe Detective Grimmett, then they are admitting that their client, a sitting judge, lied to an investigative journalist during an on-the-record recording interview, which would be grounds, in my opinion, to get her removed from the bench forthwith. What I find rather interesting, and so do many of my listeners of this podcast, is why this isn't alone front-page news in Las Vegas. Tobiasson versus Grimmett. That would make a great headline. As for Ariane Zappia, who was also mentioned during Agent White's interview, I conducted an exclusive on-the-record recorded interview with Ariane Zappia last year. I will cover that again in an upcoming podcast. I found it interesting that White said he couldn't comment when asked by Adam Wignansky, quote, "To your knowledge, did the FBI at any time have any involvement in the Land and Kaufman homicide investigation?" Unquote. Also, because of the missing pages, I do not know whether Adam Wignansky questioned White about Tobiasson's claim to me during my interview with her that White had told her that he could no longer talk to her because then Las Vegas Metro Police Assistant Sheriff Todd Fasulo had called White's then boss, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Las Vegas Field Division, Patrick Brodsky, and asked him to have his client stop talking to the judge. There is so much more going on here, folks. Right now, I will play excerpts of Judge Tobiasson talking to me about Special Agent Kevin White in May of 2018. Remember to follow my podcast, Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa, on YouTube and Facebook. You will not hear any of this in the local Las Vegas media. Thanks for listening, and now here is Judge Tobiasson. Did you ever contact anybody from the FBI and tell them what's going on?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Yes, the answer to your question is yes. And when Metro found out that I was talking to the FBI, what's his name? God damn it. He just retired. Hold on. Because if I'm off track, then anyway, yes, I did. And I spoke to somebody for a lengthy period of time. And we spoke on burner phones because we were so afraid that the other FBI agents in Metro would find out that we were talking, because he knew that there were people that he worked with at his agency that if they found out we were talking, he'd be shut down.
Why was that?
So Metro finds out that I'm talking to the FBI, and a deputy chief contacts the head of the Las Vegas field office, who then calls in the agent that I'm talking to and tells him he's not to talk to me anymore, that I'm a problem, and that Metro's concerned that I'm going to go public with my story. Yes, that's what happened.
What was the FBI agent's name you were talking to? What was his name?
Well, I'll tell you his name, but, I'm trying still to protect him, even though he won't talk to me now. So now I don't have anybody to talk to. I can't go to Metro. I can't go to the FBI.
Do you have any information that FBI investigation, the alleged FBI investigation, because I did a story on it that it started by George Knapp, do you really think there is an FBI investigation going on since 2014? Or you think it's just a bunch of nonsense?
Well, according to Kevin White, there is, and according to him, there's going to be, well, I shouldn't say that, but listen, everybody in the world is saying there's going to be indictment.
Right.
But they started saying they were coming out in February, then March, then April. Now it's May, and I don't see any fucking indictment. And everybody keeps saying, don't worry. Once the indictments come out, you're going to be okay. You'll be safe. I go, I should be safe now. I go, but I'm not, because I can't call the police, and I can't call the FBI. I go, where the fuck do I go if something goes wrong? But by the time they finally get the indictments out, I may be in prison for bullshit charges from Joe Lombardo.
Just to get this on the record, right now, the subject of, when you say the investigation, we're talking about...
The FBI investigation.
Right, the FBI investigation reference to the search warrant they executed in 2014 on Molly Mall's house.
Correct.
Let me ask you a question. Just maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Do you think the reason why, because that's a little puzzling to me, is why the FBI guy was told not to talk to you because of the ongoing FBI corruption probe, and thought maybe you may jeopardize that investigation somehow?
No. They told him specifically, I am a problem for Metro. Metro's afraid I'm going to go public, and it would make Metro look bad. No, it had nothing to do with them being concerned that it would compromise the investigation. I was giving them information that bolstered their investigation. These guys are covering for Metro just like Metro's covering for Metro.
But okay. I'm trying to find the connection here, though. Why would the FBI be covering for Metro during a federal corruption probe? That's the part that doesn't make any sense.
This is different. This is a completely different investigation. The thing I'm involved in, although it's tied to Molly Mall, resulted in 3 murders that are not being investigated, that are not part of that investigation. They ignored me for a year and a half, and it resulted in 3 murders. And I was giving that information to the FBI in hopes that at some point they might investigate that as well, whether it had a connection to the ongoing investigation or it resulted in an additional investigation. I was providing them information on my situation in hopes that they would investigate it. And they shut their agent down and told him he was to stand down, not to speak to me anymore. They were not investigating this. They were not going to take the information on it, and he was not to speak to me anymore.
Aside from the stuff that you just told me about the murders, do you think there was an active investigation with the FBI going on Molly Ball?
Yes.
Okay, but they didn't want to hear anything about.
They told me there was.
But they didn't.
Don't want.
Okay.
Listen, they're still protecting them. They're going to try to, listen. Bossman's gone from the department. Karen Hughes is gone from the department, albeit as should be. But there's still. Metro was able to call it. I don't care why. It doesn't matter why. Metro finds out that a judge is giving information to the FBI and is able to call the FBI and tell their agent not to get information from the judge anymore about the prostitution activities that she reported to Vice that were ignored and resulted in 3 murders. It doesn't matter why. The fact it happened is the story.
Okay.
Who cares what their motivation is? It's disgusting. Why would they not want me to give information to the FBI about this? Because it makes them look really fucking bad. And they know that the fact that they outed me got 2 people killed. They weren't the 2 people they were trying to get killed, me and my daughter, but it got 2 people killed.
Let me ask you.
I'll tell you, Joe does not want this story out there.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How did you make contact with this FBI agent that you originally talked to? Did he approach you or you approached him?
I approached him and it was the most bizarre. I had dinner with a lady who runs a group called Sesame. And it's a group that keeps track of teachers who are accused of or convicted of having inappropriate relationships with students and then just get sent to a different jurisdiction and get their teaching licenses, kind of like priests.
Right.
And we had a different issue that we were dealing with. And I had dinner with her and I tell her this story. And she says, I have a friend who's an FBI agent who works on human trafficking and political or public integrity. She goes, he probably really want to talk to you. And I said, I'll talk to him. I said, I've thought about going to the FBI for a while now. I said, but I don't know exactly how to go about doing that. And so she sent him a text and she said, I'm having dinner with somebody who would like to talk to you. They have a story for you. And he said to her, give her my number. And that's how we made contact.
Metro does not control the FBI. That's I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, they control the local office. In fact, that FBI agent said to me, if I was at any other field office in the country and a local police department called my boss and were upset about me talking to somebody, they would tell him to go get fucked. He said, this is the only field office in the entire country where the local police department can call and complain and get the agent shut up. Specifically said that to me. So, with all due respect, you're wrong on this one. The FBI agent personally said that he then gave me a burner phone that he bought because he didn't want one in my name. We then spoke on burner phones. And now, Joe Lombardo, one of his reasons for suggesting I'm involved in drug trafficking is because he knows I have burner phones. And I said to the attorney, I go, really? I go, let me tell you something. I never had a burner phone in my life until I talked to the FBI. I go, the only reason I've ever had a burner phone is so that Metro and the FBI wouldn't know I was talking to an FBI agent. That's why I have a burner phone. Now, 1 week after they found out I was talking to the FBI, they did a press conference where they said Shane Valentine is no longer a person of interest in this murder. That was 1 year and 3 weeks after the murder happened. And up until the minute they found out I was talking to the FBI, Shane was a suspect. The minute they found out I was talking to the FBI, they do a press conference saying he's not a suspect. The problem is they don't know that I know what evidence they have. Chances are they've destroyed it by now.
Go ahead.
Here's what I can tell you. They have now taken it away from the field office here. It wasn't originally. It was being investigated here. They took it away from them because of what happened.
When they told you, Melanie, that the case was taken out of the local office, did they tell you where it was going?
Washington.
Okay, because that's where I figured it should have been from the start.
Well, it wasn't there from the start, I can assure you. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand how somebody at Metro could call the FBI and get me basically blackballed so I can't talk to an FBI agent who was very interested in my story and knew that I was telling the truth. The FBI agent that I was talking to
Right.
he will not talk to me. He's so afraid to talk to me because he knows he'll get fired or listen, he's as mind blown as I am. He's afraid to talk on his phone, his work phone, because he doesn't trust the other agents he works with. I'm not crazy, okay?
No, I don't think you're crazy.
He's told me, he and I talked at length. We would meet at churches and libraries so we could talk. He was terrified to be seen with me in public because he knew they wouldn't want me talking to him.
Right.
Once he knew my story, he knew what would happen if they found out that we were talking. And he was right. He told me what would happen if they found out we were talking. They found out we were talking, and exactly what he said would happen happened. So, whether it makes sense to you or not, what it should say to you is this is bigger than I ever, this is stuff that they really, 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 really don't want to become public. That's what it should say to you, is that this shit is huge. One of the last times I spoke to this agent before he quit calling me, and I will tell you this, he's gotten messages to me to let me know that I'm okay, that, he knows what's going on, he knows I'm scared, and, he's managed to get me messages. But he also got me the message that if they ask him if he's talked to me, he doesn't want to have to lie. Why he's refusing to talk to me, because he doesn't want, but what does that tell you? That he's afraid of them finding out. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. Metro, I don't care what you believe, Mel. I'm telling you, Metro is not going to tell the FBI to knock off a federal corruption probe. That is just a bunch of nonsense.
No. You misunderstood me. I did not say that they said to stop the probe. I'm telling you they did not want me giving this agent the additional information that I have. This thing with me is a completely separate but huge issue for Metro because it involved judges and police officers and fire chief and human trafficking and the allowing of it to happen to our children, the ignoring of it when somebody brought it to their attention repeatedly, and then the murders. That Fasulo called the head of the Las Vegas field office and advised them that this guy was talking to me, and he was then told to stop talking to me by the head of the local field office.